2023, ano na? May nagbabike pa ba? That's a question I encountered at sasagutin natin yan as we wrap up the year with the hottest bike news dito sa Pilipinas ngayong 2023. Mula sa mga protected bike lanes papunta sa mga trending na e-bikes at road rage, we will look back and reflect. Ano nga ba ang mga nangyari sa loob ng isang taon? This is Muji Baviera and you are listening to Tambike Session, an anima podcast. Sa totoo lang, ang dami-daming nangyari sa mundo ng cycling dito sa Pilipinas ngayong 2023. At para magbalik tanaw, kasama ko ngayon ang dalawang siklista na madalas kong kakwentuhan dito sa Tambike Session podcast. Let's all welcome back Jay Digdig and Eli Gotian. Hello, mag-ingay!
Hi!
Hello, kamusta? Kamusta? Jada
Okay naman.
and Elijah, how are you? Are you excited?
Last fetch before the holidays.
Yun nga eh. Excited na ba kayo i-welcome ang 2024?
Grabe, ang bilis. Pero ang bagal, pero ang bilis.
I know,
Yes,
same thoughts.
yes. Parang during the past few days, nagre-reflect ako, nilulukbak ko yung gallery ko ng photos and videos. And nakita ko na, wow, ang dami palang nangyari. Ang tagal na ba nung January 2023? O parang kailan lang yun? Parang napapaisip talaga ako eh. Kayo, kamusta? Nakapag-reflect na ba kayo sa nangyari sa inyong taon o gagawin nyo pa lang in a few days?
I guess for me, naisip ko rin siya, pero more at the moment is hinahabol yung mga things for before mag-holiday. But since you mentioned it, actually totoo na parang ang dami nangyari, pero at the same time, mabagal and mabilis yung mga pangyayari. Na parang, let's say, ano bang magandang topic? If let's say, isang topic parang, this year lang ba nangyari yun?
Oo. Tapos parang may isip mo, this year lang nangyari yun. O ikaw, Eli, kamusta naman? Nakapag-reflect ka na ba ng mga ganap mo in life?
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
At all.
Not at all. Maybe in a few days. Pero yun nga, sabi ni Jay na when you look back at it, parang ang bilis. Pero if you remember the moments in between those events or during those events, ang bagal nga. So, yun nga, very mix of emotions itong 2023.
And in terms of cycling naman, ako nakapag-look back na ako eh. Nakapag-isip na ako ng mga, parang tingnan ko ano yung mga highlights, ano yung mga nag-trending na topic, syempre sa atin, very affected tayo when it comes to the news about biking, about road safety, kasi tayo yung gumagamit nun. And nakapag-kolekta ako ng a few, and I think those few news na nalista ko are the biggest in terms of 2023. If meron kayong gustong idagdag at gusto nyong pag-usapan, i-bring up nyo lang sa ating kwentuhan. So, unang-una, naniniwala ako na ang year 2023 ay ang year of the protected bike lanes. Parang parang all throughout the year, since January hanggang December, parang protected bike lanes, punong-puno ng balita, laging nandun, regardless kung binuo ba siya, tinanggal, linitan, parang laging merong kwento about it, laging merong story about it. At unang-una, ang bumulaga sa first quarter of 2023 ay ang Ayala Avenue bike lanes. Dahil sinabi nila, di ba, na i-remove daw nila ang protected bike lanes. Tapos nagkaroon ng mga protesta, and then it went back, tapos naging manipis siya ulit, tapos tumaba ulit, naging one whole car lane ulit siya, tapos binalik ulit sa pagiging manipis. What can you say about this? Asan kayo ng mga pangyayaring to, ng announcement, all throughout this whole Ayala bike lane shenanigans? What are your thoughts about this? O, si Eli nangingiti. Umpisahan mo na. Let's go.
Yeah, so it happened early at the start of this year. Before I say anything muna, I'll have to commend naman Ayala and their character development throughout the year, diba?
Let's go.
Yes. Yeah.
Saludo.
But then at the start of the year, it was very challenging, especially dealing with them, diba? In terms of them removing the bike lane. I think most of us were on Twitter during that time. I don't think we were in one place. But then you saw the whole Twitter, nung Twitter pa siya, erupt. All the different bike Twitter personalities. And then I think bike Discord later on, it all erupted, uh showing their anger, some sadness and all in terms and disappointment for Ayala removing their bike lanes. So ayun, diba it led to lots of events, including some protests that we had, and it looks like it kind of worked a bit in one way or another. But then, ayun, very mix of emotions siya, yung Ayala bike lanes.
So parang nung Twitter pa, mayroon lang fear of the removal of the bike lanes. Nung X na siya, parang andun pa pala siya. Tama ba?
Yeah, I guess during the timeline, diba? So, ayun, at least now it's back. And then there are also some new protected bike lanes along Buendia na rin yata. So, I
Oo.
mean,
Yeah, ang ganda no. Yung Ayala bike lanes na yan, medyo nag-define din yan ng ng 2023 ko. Ako personally. Ikaw, Jay, ano ang masasabi mo sa Ayala bike lanes bilang bilang member ng Esteban Cycling Community?
Well, number one, I guess, mix of emotions din, especially nung nakita ko yung... At first, may nagsabi lang sa akin. Tapos I saw yung mga signs along Ayala. Tapos I think it was a matter of just a few days before, less than a week. Tapos parang, bakit sobrang sudden? So, syempre, nandun yung outpour ng disappointment, as Eli mentioned, anger. Pero yung mas nangibabaw is yung fear na for the safety, especially ng mga tao na talagang nagtatraverse along Ayala at gumagamit ng bikes, papasok and pauwi ng bahay nila. Kasi sila yung talagang nakikinabang doon. Although sinasabi ng iba na hindi naman daw masyado na-utilize, but then yung perception ko kasi dyan is hindi kasi wala tayong proper infrastructure. So meaning to say, hindi na-encourage yung tao. So what more kung talagang tatanggalin mo siya? Wala talagang may encourage na mag-bike, di ba? Yun. But buti na lang, at least, di ba, yung all the efforts of everyone involved, I would say, that brought back the bike lanes. At the same time, yung car-free Ayala, which is going to be extended till next year. It's a good sign, especially for people who really needs these kinds of infrastructures.
Yun, tama. Ako naman yung isa sa mga realization ko dyan sa protected bike lanes ng Ayala. Tama ka, Jay eh. Nung in-announce talaga yun, grabe, yung galit sa puso ko. Parang, oh no, parang bakit itatanggalin yung gold standard, quote-unquote gold standard na bike lane dito sa Pilipinas. So, I felt really angry and hopeless na parang tinanggalan tayo ng pag-asa na sana gagayahin to ng ng napakadaming lugar sa Pilipinas, LGUs and private institutions. Tapos tatanggalin nila. And then there's this certain hope that emerged. Tapos yung hope na yun ay yung community, different bike communities gathered, whether it's online, whether it's on the ground, they gathered to protest, to voice out their, feelings na parang, oh, teka, bakit niyo tatanggalin yung protected bike lanes na to? So, natuwa ko yung sense of community with different bike communities from bike commuters, female cyclists, gravel riders, advocates. Parang nandun, nakita ko yung magic na nagtulungan talaga yung mga tao. And I have to, I have to give it up. I have to give it to the advocates also who managed to lead the group mula umpisa hanggang sa, hanggang sa magkaroon tayo ng protected bike lanes or manatili yung protected bike lanes. Hindi man natin nakuha yung kasi syempre gusto natin sana same pa din yung width na parang one whole car lane and pero parang napagtagumpayan yun nung mga protesta from the first parang first weeks ng mga ng mga different bike communities and bike advocates. Sayang nga until now, unfortunately, hindi pa rin nasosolve yung mga anong tawag doon? Conflict areas? I forgot the
Conflict
term.
points.
Conflict points. Yeah, yung mga conflict points, hindi pa din. Like one time, I was cycling and buntik na akong maipit ng bus na nagmamadali. Grabe. Grabe. Parang after a protected bike lane, di ba? Parang empty yung bus lane. Grabe,
Yes.
inipit ba naman ako nung bus? Grabe. Parang, I wouldn't say na parang, I'd like to admit na matagal na akong parang seasoned or how would I say, parang ilang years na akong bike commuter. Pero, grabe, may mga bagay na hindi siya hindi siya skill issue and it's beyond
yeah.
your control. Ayan. Okay, ito na-mention niyo na rin kanina. Ito na-mention na ni Eli na emerge yung protected bike lane sa Buendia na never kong na-imagine na alam mo yun, magkakaroon ng protected bike lanes. At hindi lang sa Buendia nagkaroon ng protected bike lanes. Sa Mandaluyong, sa Ortigas, nagkaroon din ng protected bike lanes, di ba? May mga bike lanes din na nag-emerge sa Baguio City, nag-emerge dumagdag din yung mga bike lanes sa different LGUs. I think Davao, Cebu, nagdagdag din sila ng mga bike lanes doon. What can you say about this na dumagdag ang mga protected bike lanes in different parts of Metro Manila?
Siyempre, happy kasi, even though hindi siya ganun ka-solid barrier na super mapoprotektahan yung cyclist, it's still, I would say, a small win na we should celebrate. Pero at the same time, it's something na, again, kailangan mag-start kailangan mag-start yung infrastructure para ma-encourage yung mga tao. Kasi again, if wala yung infrastructure, hindi maisip ng tao na, mag-bike na lang kaya ako papasok. Yun. So, it's good na even though hindi pa siya ganun ka-solid, at least it's a good step na hopefully across Metro Manila and even outside of Manila, gayahin din nila.
Yun. At sa mga key parts ng Metro Manila, like sa mga CBDs, the protected bike lanes are very evident. Yung ADB, nagkaroon din ng protected bike lanes this year lang din. Di ba? Tama ba? Protected bike lanes
Nawala na siya.
Nawala na ba? Nawala na. Akala ko meron pa. Oh no. So yan, nawala na ang protected bike lanes.
Well, meron, especially, but yung napapansin ko lang dun is either nawawala siya or inuusog or from ADB papuntang podium, numinipis siya.
Oh my God, ang lala. Okay, so may update. Wala pala ang mga protected bike lanes sa ADB. Numipis ang protected bike lane sa ADB. Okay, ikaw
but
na Eli.
I heard lalagyan ng better infrastructure by next year. So hopefully
papalitan.
So parang ngayon pang testing lang for the people para masanay, I guess.
Correct. Fingers crossed.
So hopefully.
Eli, ikaw, what can you say about the emergence of the new protected bike lanes not just in Metro Manila but in the whole Philippines?
Well, it's a win, right? It's a win for everyone, for all Filipinos, all cyclists, all bike commuters out there. But I think, sige, ako yung magiging devil's advocate dito. We shouldn't be satisfied with it. That's what happened noong 2022. As much as dumagdag yung bike lanes natin this year, marami rin nawala. So with that, I think the public sector, the government and the private sector should see this as momentum again. Again, because there was momentum in the start of the pandemic, tapos medyo nawala ngayon, tapos medyo dumagdag ulit. So we shouldn't be satisfied with it, that we already have these protected bike lanes. Most of them are just bike lanes. They're just painted bike lanes. They're not even protected yet. But then with that, tama, that there's momentum and it's a win. So I think we should just keep improving on that. And like what Jay said, tama, if you build it, they will come, diba? But someone has to take that leap at the start. And it should be those in power, those that have influence talaga. And I hope that they do continue. Our DOTR active transport team has been, pushing it. Despite the many challenges that they also face, they've been doing a good job as well. LGUs have been doing a good job. Shout out kay QC. May mga bagong really protected bike lanes talaga sila doon. Saludo ako sa kanila, kay Mayor Joy. And yeah, I think we should not be satisfied and we should keep pushing for it. There are no gold standards in the Philippines. I don't think we should consider anything as gold standard here because there isn't. Or we shouldn't be satisfied that something here is a gold standard because there really isn't any. We have some, acceptable, but then we
Top
shouldn't be
gold.
satisfied. Yeah, we shouldn't be satisfied. Keep push lang.
Ako naman na-strike ako dun sa sinabi mo about continuous. Kasi tama, we should continue ng pagbuo ng mga protected bike lanes. And sana continuous ang protected bike lanes na dinadaanan ng mga siklista. Hindi yung napuputol. Yung tipong, alam ba sa EDSA, di ba? In a way, may mga malaking streak ng protected bike lanes. Tapos biglang, wala. Ganyan. Pero at least merong long protected bike lanes dun sa EDSA.
And sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Lester, paad lang. When we say protected bike lanes, it just doesn't mean the lane, but the intersection as well. Because like what you said, that's the area with the most conflict points. So if you were to prioritize putting a bike, protected bike lane or protected bike infrastructure, start with the intersection and then spread out from there.
So, ayun nga, nakakatawa kasi, di ba, yung Mandaluyong, sabi ko, nagkaroon ng protected bike lanes along Ortigas Avenue. Ang ganda nun, di ba? Ang problema naman nito, ang San Juan naman, tinanggal ang protected bike lane sa Ortigas Avenue. Kung kailan naman nagkaroon ng isang mahabang streak ng protected bike lane sa Ortigas Avenue, biglang nawala yung sa San Juan. Isa sa mga pinakaunang nagkaroon ng protected bike lanes dito sa Pilipinas. Nawala. And mga taga San Juan, Eli and Jay, what can you say about this?
I know.
I know, yun na lang, wala nang.
Yeah, siguro ako starting na tayo sa Domingo. During the height of the pandemic, since yung work ko is around the area, parang in a way, okay mag-commute, okay mag-bike commute kasi meron kang, although may painted lane, which is not enough, but then, in a way, at least merong designated area for bikes, but then now, may paint, may barrier, o walang, there's no such thing as bike lane, especially in San Juan, which is very, very, very difficult for, at least for someone na nagbabike araw-araw to work, diba? So what more for those na talagang hindi ganun kasanay or hindi ganun ka confident magbike together with motorcycles and taxis and whatever. So mahirap. It's a challenge talaga. So yung tipong pagod ka na sa trabaho, isipin mo pa another level of challenge going home or going to work kasi parang okay, today another battle na naman na kailangan natin pagtagumpayan. And that's the reality of life.
Natawa na lang ako no? Kasi parang pagod ka na, nakipaglaban ka na, nakipagbakbakan ka na sa trabaho, makikipagbakbakan ka pa ulit sa kalsada pa uwi. Parang ang saklap. Ito si Iilay, kanina pa, nod ng nod na may papikit. Parang feel na feel niya yung mga sinasabi ni Jay Daligdig.
Moment.
As someone na moment as someone who lives in San Juan, wala, feel na feel ko. Kasi at the start, super proud kami kasi that was a really, really good uh, that was a really good example of protected bike lanes, especially at the start of the pandemic. Diba? And then for the outright here for mayor to take them out and replace them with cat eyes, which are those reflective studs that light up at night, parang sarap sabihin, di naman to nag-light up sa umaga eh. That's
Yeah.
one. Second, it's not gonna stop any motorist either on a motorcycle or on a vehicle to go there into the bike lane, diba? And if you think about it as well, that side of Ortigas with in San Juan has a lot of service roads.
Mhm.
So with that, every time you bike there, you're gonna have conflict with a car that wants to go inside the service road that will cut into you. Usually mga jeeps, mga bus, because they have to load passengers. Pero may mga vehicles as well. So, ayun, it was very disappointing. And until now, there isn't any development. Parang they just let the news die out. And
Yan,
ayun, just
totoo.
want to say, as someone who lives in San Juan, we are disappointed na it was taken out. And at the end of the day, it's still traffic. There is no proof that things got better.
Mm.
And I don't think it will ever will if you continue to push for policies like that.
Parang ang saklap nga kasi sa San Juan ang dami na aksidenteng bikers, lalo na nung tinanggal nila yung yung parang I remember there was this story na nawala yung isang protected bike lane sa may bandang Ronac Art Center. Tapos may naaksidenteng biker kasi may nakaharang dun sa bike lane, umalis siya sa bike lane, pag-alis niya sa bike lane, bigla siyang sumemplang. Parang sana swabe and safe ang kanyang pagbabike sa protected bike lane ng San Juan, tapos biglang nawala. But yun ay isa sa mga unfortunate incidents of protected bike lanes. Let's go naman sa isang napakasayang balita, which is, you kept on saying this kanina pa, Quezon City, Mayor Joy Belmonte
Let's
promised
go, UC!
300 km plus of protected bike lanes, and bago matapos ang 2023, meron siyang pasabog na protected bike lanes. Kakaibang bike lanes pa 'to na nakita natin sa Quezon City. Well, we've seen this in Pasig, we've seen this in Iloilo, pero in Quezon City, first time na merong malalaking, cemented blocks na merong halaman to protect the cyclist. And it was placed in areas na parang yung mga tao hindi nila aakalain magkakaroon. Like Katipunan, Quezon Avenue. What can you say about this?
Ano masabi kay Mayor? I mean, she's leading the way in terms of promoting cycling, especially in the cities, diba? And I just hope that it will continue. I hope that it would turn into more permanent infrastructure. Although it is pretty permanent, but then permanent being having some streets that are car free or car light, especially in the smaller areas, let's say in sa may mga Tomas Maroto area, sa may Teachers Village, in mga areas,
Erod.
Erod, well,
Joke, parang hirap pero joke lang.
yeah. But then the Erod ones, you could put the cement ones there and then as an upgrade.
Yeah.
So I just hope that it will continue, and I know that the QC citizens, especially the cyclists, have her back. And she has a really good team there in the QCLGU as well. So just props to her and to the whole Quezon City. I hope that it continues. And I hope ma-pressure in ibang mayors. I hope ma-pressure, peer pressure in yun that, mayor choice doing the job.
si Mayor Joy Belmonte along with other mayors of Metro Manila went to the Netherlands this year, right? Para mag-check ng best practices about cycling infrastructure. And kitang-kita naman natin, sulit na sulit ang perang binayad ng mga taxpayers dahil si Joey Belmonte ay ina-apply niya ang mga natutunan
Yes.
niya sa Netherlands. Kamusta naman kaya yung mga ibang mayors natin na pinadala?
Well,
Well na lang.
well, how the tables have turned.
Ikaw, Jay, kamusta naman what can you say about the protected bike lanes of Quezon City? Well, this is not just about the plant boxes, but also all throughout the Quezon City protected bike lanes. Ang lawak ng QC eh.
Yeah, well, I guess I can say when you do something, you have to be intentional about it. So,
Tama.
I
Sa
say
lahat ng
that
bagay.
sa lahat ng bagay. Well, in terms of the bike lanes, parang if you're going to do it, parang do it the best way na. Kasi number one, you're funding it. Number two, you're putting hours to it. Yung isip mo, yung team mo, yung nag-iisip mo, pinagagalaw mo. So might as well do it the best way. And kasi hindi ka intentional, parang just put few kilometers of bike lane tapos wala. Parang sayang yung effort. And
Tama.
you have
That's the
to
word.
think about yung mga tao na nakakagamit nun. Diba? So, and kung pwede nga lang at least yung mga nasa may kapangyarihan is mag-bike din talaga sila along their vicinity, along Metro Manila para they would see how it is. Yun talaga eh. Kung hindi rin talaga sila immersed din, mahirap. But for those who do their best, then props to them. Solid. I'm gonna give them a hoya.
Sige nga, isa pa nga.
I'm gonna give them a hoya.
Yan. Congratulations talaga sa Quezon City for doing a job well done. Okay, let's go to the next trending topic ng in terms of biking here in the Philippines. The emergence of electric bikes. Well, these are hindi to necessarily yung mga e-bikes na dalawang gulong Kasi parang tinatawag din nating e-bikes yung mga yung mga 3 gulong, 4 na gulong, na laging inaaway on social media or madalas inaaway on social media. They're very evident this year. Kitang-kita naman natin na ang dami-dami nila. And some of them entered the bike lanes too. What are your thoughts about this as cyclists? Okay lang ba sa inyo na pumasok ang mga electric vehicles na to sa bike lanes?
Actually, the term that we use to transport is LEVs, so it's light electric vehicles. That's what we're starting to call, or that's the word that we're starting to call them. But then, kasi nako-confuse minsan yung e-trike sa e-bike.
Correct,
Medyo
yeah.
confusing siya.
Pero dito sa Pilipinas, parang e-bike yung tawag talaga, no?
Parang e-bike yung tawag, di ba? I would rather call it an e-trike kasi usually either 3 wheels siya or 4 wheels, di ba?
Ako nga,
Bicycle, 2
electric
wheels.
vehicle yung tawag ko naman dyan. Yeah.
Pwede rin siya, vehicle naman siya. So, for me, I honestly think that, yes, it may pros and cons pa rin siya. But I don't think we should alienate them as much as we are, like what most people are doing right now. For me, they're actually the lifeline of a lot of Filipinos. You have, and if you look at it, who are the ones using it? You have mothers, you have lola, lolo, that are using this not for the usual commute to work trips that most people do 9 to 5, but the trips within the day, fetching their kid from school, going to the grocery, going to a convenience store, bringing their kid to the park, or etc., etc. Those trips actually are as important, sometimes even just as important as your normal commute to work trips. And this hits a different demographic, and it's actually a lot of them there that are vulnerable users, diba? So for me, they should be allowed in the bike lane, given that the speed is limited. That's something that the manufacturing and policy needs to go into. But then I don't see any problem with them going with us in the bike lane as long as the width is correct, diba? It allows someone to overtake as well. But we should stop trying to alienate them or trying to push them out of the way. Yes, they might need some more policy that's who can use them, the right age of people that can use them possibly. I don't know yet. It's very, very gray area siya.
Kasi bago pa lang talaga siya, no?
Yeah, generally new here. But then instead of pushing them away, we should help promote it and act on infrastructure and policies that would help improve and make it successful here. And it's electric more than compared to sa motorcycle na may usok lagi, 'di ba? At least it's
At maingay.
grabe yung usok. Grabe yung usok eh.
Grabe. I know. Ikaw, Jay, okay lang ba sa'yo na kasama natin sila sa kalsada, lalo na sa protected bike lanes? Sa mga bike lanes?
Yeah, oo naman. Naalala ko nung time na bago pa before the pandemic, nauso yung e-scooters, di ba? Tapos I think there was a time na sobrang gray area kung saan ba sila lulugar. Sa sidewalk, sa gutter, o sa one of the lanes ng kalye. So I guess a good insight ni Eli is if you see as someone from the above, diba? You have to look at ano yung ginagamit ng mga tao, ano yung nasa kalye, bakit sila nasa kalye, and ano yung ways para maprotektahan mo silang lahat. Yes, may pros and cons, that's for sure, but if you empathize in a way na, bakit nga ba may e-trike or may light electric vehicles, mas maintindihan mo na, okay, so it's a need by most Filipinos, especially mga families. So isip ka, ano yung way? Ano yung best way to protect them? So part of that is to have, of course, rules. And then, as Eli mentioned, yung pwede sila sa bike lane. I mean, I don't mind kasi that protects them as well. But syempre, if yung infrastructure doesn't allow for it, then yun yung medyo challenging.
Yeah.
So talagang it's an effort by the LGUs talaga na to look at the bigger picture and see how things can be improved.
I think okay sa akin na kasama sila sa bike lanes as long as it's safe for everyone. What do you mean by that? It's safe for everyone in terms of their speed. Syempre, of course, if those electric vehicles are speeding too fast, definitely that's very dangerous to the vulnerable users who are using the protected bike lanes or the bike lanes, 'di ba? And at the same time, if for example, yan, yung width nga ng bike lane, 'di ba? Tapos malaki yung electric vehicle and all of these active transport users will be forced to get out of the bike lane, tapos pwede silang, alam mo, they will be at risk na masagasaan ng mga faster vehicles, 'di ba? So sana the government or at least those people who are in power can really check kung ano ba yung demographics, ano ba yung needs, paano ba natin mapoprotektahan yung bawat road users na to. And speaking of demographics or parang data, I'd like to move on to the next trending topic of 2023 para sa mga siklista, which is yung SWS surveys. So, nagkaroon ng survey saying na 4 bike owners to 1 car owner dito sa Pilipinas. So, sa bawat 4 na bike owners, merong isang car owner. Tapos, meron ding 1 out of 3 Filipino households ay nagmamay-ari ng bisikleta. What can you say about this?
Okay. Well, number one kasi, in terms of between a bike and a car, a bike is something that anyone can purchase, anyone can learn. And in terms of a car, for me, I really believe na to own a car, there's a big responsibility. Big responsibility on the road, big responsibility with the people around you, and lastly, the responsibility to have a proper parking space for that. Kasi di ba, yung medyo sad thing about here is to own a car, sobrang, in a way, medyo madali siya. Like, you have yung mga promos for cars na parang low down payment, di ba? But then, in reality, parang, if you look at the checkboxes, parang, oh, may parking space ka ba? Number two, yung may proper license ka ba? Or
At
meron
sobrang
ka ba?
daling kumuha ng lisensya for so many people. Ang dali ring magbayad.
Yeah, and ang daming layers. But going back, yeah, having a bike is something very easy, accessible. But at the same time, it really helps a lot eh, diba? Imagine mo, yung isang kotse, kaya niyang, yung isang kotse, pwede siya maging equivalent ng, let's say, 6 to 8 people of the same space while riding or while nasa parking. And it says a lot na if, let's say, you multiply that to 10 or even multiply it to 20,000, imagine EDSA, that number, mas marami yung nasa road kesa dun sa vehicles. And in a way, if that happens, diba, parang mas marami tayong nakakapunta from A to B faster than being stuck in traffic with just you alone inside the car.
Ako yung opinion ko naman dito ay, well, what you said are true. Parang dapat nare-recognize talaga yan ng mga tao. And ang isa sa mga dapat ma-recognize din ng mga tao ay, these are data, these are research na ginawa, at these are facts na totoo. Alam mo, may nakita ako isa sa comment section ng isang automobile Facebook page. Ang nakalagay doon, eto daw survey na 'to, gawa-gawa lang daw 'to ng Alt Mobility. Yung Alt Mobility ay isang, independent, group who are advocates of mobility. So, anong masasabi mo diyan, Eli Gotian, as a member of Alt Mobility? Gawa-gawa niyo lang daw ang survey na 'to.
First off, di kami yung gumawa ng survey na yun. So, just clearing that out. At the same time, we are very appreciative of that survey.
Gawa 'to ng SWS, by the way.
Yes, SWS, yes. And all we have to say is, it's the truth. The data will speak for itself. And at the same time, the current situation will also speak for itself. That we have majority of Filipinos here that are struggling to get from point A to point B, struggling to move around, especially now during the holiday season. And it's not because of the majority, but it's because of the very, very, very minority that own vehicles here, especially here in Metro Manila. So what I could say about this data that we have here, that it's 4:1, diba? Is that what the bicycle does? It's a symbol of inclusion for everyone, diba? It levels the playing field as well for everyone. It takes you outside of that metal box and brings you out into reality that we are experiencing all these poor conditions that we have, and those who are experiencing it are the majority. 4:1 nga, diba? And with that, it also shows that there is a demand. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure that 4:1, marami doon don't use their bikes that often rin. Well, that's just assuming, diba? But then it's an untapped potential or an untapped demand that is just waiting to go out there on the road if we have better infrastructure and policy. So we could become a cycling metro just based on this data. Basta dumating yung infrastructure at policy. This data is there.
Ang ano nga ang interesting nung sinasabi mo na tama ka. Meron nga tayong parang 4:1 nga, 'di ba, ang bike owners to car owners. Pero it's possible na hindi lahat ng 'yon namimisikleta. But at the same time, sinasabi kasi ng mga ibang tao, lalo na ng mga deniers ng survey na 'to, na wala naman nagba-bike mas madami nga yung mga kotse. Going back to what Jay said, 'di ba, parang ang laki nila sa kalsada, kaya mukha silang madami yung mga kotse, mukha silang madami kasi ang laki ng inookupan nilang space. Kaya mukha silang they're like big in numbers, but in reality, kung titingnan mo lang yung mga taong nasa loob doon, sobrang parang pwede mong pwede nating masabi na parang, baka mas madami pa talaga yung alam mo yun, other road users than private car owners, 'di ba? Very, very kaya sana tigilan natin ang pagde-deny dahil ito na yung data, ito na yung alam mo yun, science na 'to, ito na yung research, eh. Sana sana matuto na tayo about this dahil it's not just in cycling but in so many so many aspect of our lives as Filipino people na hindi tayo naniniwala sa siyensya, hindi tayo naniniwala sa data kaya nagkakandaletse-letse ang mga buhay natin. Okay, speaking of, we've been talking about safety, we've been talking about, bike lanes, we've been talking about cyclist. Ito ang yumanig sa buong Pilipinas maski hindi mga siklista ay nakasali sa usapan at naapektuhan sa trending topic na 'to. This is the ex-cop named Willie Gonzalez pointing gun to a cyclist named Alan Banjola. Ito yung road rage incident sa Quezon Avenue. What can you say about this?
So number one, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier na it's part of your responsibility when you're on the road. So lahat naman may responsibility, di ba? And of course, for us, we have to be responsible of what we do and for what we do and for the people around us. So if let's say we are very careless o nadadaan tayo mabilis sa emosyon, and yung mga little things na hindi naman siya dapat gawing issue is na pinapalaki natin or we make it a big deal, then hindi siya magandang turnout. And that's one of the evidences of what happened with that incident, di ba? Well, point ko lang naman doon is we really have to be cool on the road, regardless of what, if we're a cyclist, we're nasa bus or naglalakad, we really have to be cool. Yung iba kasi parang nakat lang ng kotse, ang laking bagay na, or bubusina na, or let's say, wala pang split second yung traffic light, or nakita na congested, they would keep on honking. Parang walang, ano yung point? Then, ano ba yung point? So,
Taeng-tae sila.
Yeah.
Para kailangan nilang pupunta sa toilet.
Kasi parang lahat naman tayo is may destination tayo. We wanna go somewhere. And yung pagbusina or pag-intimidate ng someone, it doesn't help anyone other than siguro our own ego. Diba? So hopefully, this would be medyo unfortunate, but hopefully it opens a lot of eyes na Filipinos who are on the road. Na parang relax lang. Na tayo makakauwi or makakapunta tayo sa kung saan tayo pupunta. And violence is not the answer.
Correct. Yan nga yung sasabihin ko. Violence is not the answer. Chill lang. Kasi gusto lang talaga nating umuwi ng ligtas. And ano ba naman yung a few seconds, di ba? And at the same time, yung ego natin, itabi natin dahil baka kung ano pa ang mangyari at magawa natin dahil sa this thing called ego. Parang inunahan ka, ano naman ngayon, di ba? Well, I guess hindi lahat ng tao ganyan. Pero sana, di ba? Ilay, ikaw, what can you say about this road rage incident na nag-trending talaga sa buong Pilipinas?
Well, for one, thank you Lord na may CCTV that was able to capture the moments that led to it, diba? Ano yung nag-trigger. So that shows the importance of monitoring, street monitoring, diba? Especially in the busy city. Second, it also shows that you know, we all, tama, we all have our bad days, we all have our trigger moments, but how can this be avoided, diba? And it shows that kulang pa talaga yung infrastructure natin, because if there was, and if once the culture on the road adjusts to it and all, these types of cases would go down naturally because the expectations of people are met or they're aligned, diba? At the end of the day, yes, we are only human. The, some of us will be triggered in some way. That's what we call yun sa transport natin ng Vision Zero, diba? That's what we want to achieve. Is that we do admit that we're human. There will be accidents that we commit or crashes that will happen. Not necessarily
Crushes.
accidents. Crushes.
Crushes.
With
Ayan.
CRASHES.
Yes. So how can we prevent or how can we mitigate those events, no? And that what that event showed is that kulang. Kulang sa infrastructure, kulang sa policy, and lastly, kulang sa empathy. And I think that's one thing that public transport and active transport can really equalize yung empathy for one another on the road. Because you see people, they're not someone outside your reach. You're right beside them. You're commuting with them. So that helps. Although yes, at the end of the day, yeah, violence is not the solution at all, and he got what it was coming for him. Yeah, buti lang na may CCTV because especially during the hearing, diba, the ex-cop was mentioning all these other, you know, details, pero at least the video was able to show na mali siya.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, I think yung mga taong maiinitin yung ulo, I think kulang sa pagmamahal at kulang sa aruga ng magulang. So mga magulang dyan, alagaan nyo ang inyong mga anak at turuan sila ng magandang asal para pag tumanda sila, hindi sila maging kagaya ni Willie Gonzalez. Chill lang tayo sa kalsada and like what Eli was telling, 'di ba? Parang thank God for CCTV. I'd also like to say, as an advocate of content creation, thank you din sa nag-video for the clout. Siguro akala lang niya siguro mag-video lang siya for the Facebook, ganyan. Na nag-trigger ng isang national conversation. So maraming salamat sa'yo. Alam ko na-traumatize din siya eh. Kasi tinake down niya yung video, natakot din siya. Pero salamat sa mga nagko-content at nag-expose ng mga ganitong bagay. Medyo heavy yung pinag-usapan natin about road rage, about, about dun sa incident na yun. Pero bago tayo mag-move on to another story, gusto ko lang sabihin na wag po natin kakalimutan ang pangalang Willie Gonzalez. Kasi si Willie Gonzalez ay ang pangalan or nagre-represent ng mga taong pwedeng makasakit at pwedeng makapahamak ng kapwa nating Pilipino na gusto lamang mag-travel ng matiwasay sa ating mga kalsada. Anyway, from a heavy topic, let's go to a very light and very welcoming news, which is car-free streets. So, this year, madami ang nag-emerge na car-free streets. It was mentioned a while ago na yung isa sa mga pinakasikat na car-free streets sa Pilipinas ay ang car-free Sundays ng Ayala Avenue. What can you say about this? O Jay, ikaw na. Dahil ikaw ang nag-bring up ng car-free Sundays sa podcast episode na to.
Yeah, well, it's something na maganda in a way. Kailan ba na siyang start? Quarter 4. Isa siyang magandang news for everyone. Kasi it's a day na everyone can be human. Like as Eli mentioned, yung nakikita mo sila mata sa mata, nakikita mo sila as a person. And it really makes or it reconnect people, especially nowadays na parang everyone's glued to their phones or their laptops or their iPads. It's a day na parang you would know na okay, after all the things that I've done during the week, parang it would be a nice day to bring up my family or catch up with a friend or yung mga significant other na
mga kalandian, mga ganon.
Yeah. It's a good day na to connect with people. And hindi man siya something na talagang dinudumog ng maraming tao. But at least, ito yung good example na if we have things like this or infrastructure na nandyan, then people will, slowly be captivated by it. And then next thing you know na, it's something na every Sunday people do or kung pwede, every weekend na something na ginagawa na different cities. And it's a win for everyone, I would say. It's a good win.
Well, Ayala has been doing car-free streets parang years ago pa, di ba? Even before the pandemic, they've been doing it. And I think many places in Metro Manila or even around the Philippines have been doing car-free streets as well. Well, I ano, like ko 'tong sinasabi even before na yung car-free streets hindi siya bago sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Nagpapasara ng kalsada para sa liga, nagpapasara ng kalsada para sa fiesta, nagpapasara ng kalsada para sa alam mo 'yun, Mr. and Miss Barangay or Mr. and Miss Gay pageants, ganyan, 'di ba? Pero this year talaga sobrang daming nag-emerge na car-free streets at na-inspire sila sa madaming car-free streets na nangyari even last year. And Eli, 'di ba, I think ikaw, you've been doing some initiatives. Nag-aano kayo, nagko-close talaga kayo ng streets. Pumunta ka pa atang Baguio 'di ba, to do it. Tama ba? What's that project?
Yes. So previously, kakatapos lang ng project, which is a project under UNDP Philippines and Department of Transportation called the Low Carbon Transport Project. So my role there as the capacity building officer was to find ways to promote low carbon transport and to build capacity in LGUs to to promote this because usually wala pa silang capacity to do it, diba? So one of the workshops we had was a open streets workshop. So we taught them how to close a street, how to activate the street, how to keep it going, how to fund it, and importantly, how to get the community involved because that's what's gonna keep it going. That's the one that's gonna drive it. And with that, we saw the importance of different roles diba, of the LGU of the community. But one thing that stands out with Ayala here is that it's a push from the private sector. And we are it's shown how key the private sector is in terms of promoting active transport, in promoting coming up with spaces for people that will turn into places, diba? So we would just like to tip our hats off to Ayala and both Makati LGU of creating this huge car-free Ayala because we do have other car-free streets, but not to this scale. Diba? This is almost the entire Ayala Avenue, like 3/4 of it. And it symbolizes talaga na, okay, this street is not only for cars, but on Sundays, it is for everyone. See what I did there? It's not just for vehicles, but it's for everyone. And that's what closing a street can do. And I think with that is that it adds another public space, which we are lacking here in the Philippines, diba, in Metro Manila. When we want to meet up with someone, saan tayo pupunta? Sa mall, diba? Doon lang eh, or sa kanto. Pero if you say that we close a street, or we activate a street, activate a space, turn it into a place. And it will bring people together. And one of the goals naman of Ayala ever since that the image they want to project is being environmentally friendly, against climate change, very community-based. So it fits into their image, diba? And I think they should keep pushing it. Alam ko they're closing it in for New Year's. For New Year's. So, diba, that's been done before.
Regine Velasquez ang dadalhin nila, diba? For Ayala Avenue. BGC naman, Red Velvet. Let's go.
Oh, why not, diba?
RV versus RV.
So yeah, you create public spaces, diba? And it might not be that, evident to people, but then when you look back at it, when you think of these memories, when you go abroad, when you grow older, like, remember that time na ganun, remember the time na ganun. And I hope it would come to a point na these things won't be events, but it would be an everyday thing. Or
Permanent
it would be part of the culture. yeah, permanent or almost permanent, mga ganon na ingrained talaga that our streets are not, our streets and roads are not just for vehicles, but it's public space. And as public space, it needs to be inclusive, accessible, and interactive rin as well to create, great memories for people.
Yeah, and maganda talaga yung car-free streets lalo na sa Pilipinas na it's very refreshing, especially in our cities, na makita ng saradong kalsada para sa private vehicles.
Walang
Kasi
usok.
walang ingay and safe para sa mga bata, 'di ba? Ganda. Maganda talaga. Okay, let's end the podcast episode with another good news, 'di ba? Isa sa mga nakita natin this year ay ang pagbabalik ng napakadaming community rides at napakadaming bike events. Halimbawa na diyan ay dalawa ang naging bike expo this year. 'Di ba? Meron sa UP, meron sa
Sir,
Alabang. Usually isang beses lang sila nag-hold ng bike expo pero this year dalawa ang bike expo. Well, aside from that, ang dami ring mga races na naganap dito sa Pilipinas, not just here in Luzon, but also in Visayas and Mindanao. Well, we recently concluded 12 Stops of Christmas. That was very successful. Grand Fondo was still present this year. Tapos napakadaming community rides. Go Esteban Cycling Community, Go First Bike Ride. And madami pang other community rides. What can you say about this, Eli?
I think what was nice is that because of what the events that played out, diba? It was the first time actually that the advocacy community and the cycling community really merged. Obviously, may pros and cons yun doon, alam na ating lahat. But then it really gave birth to that new sector, or it was just our increase of demand of lots of new cyclists that are coming in. This it didn't matter where they were coming from, but with that, the bike events that happened this year put together all of them. Diba? It was a space where everyone could meet each other and all. So I would just like to say a huge thank you to the organizers, aka the both of you, plus everyone else that they know who they are. Now brought back talaga the community, especially during the very, what I like to say, emotional and trying times from the first to second quarter of the year. So at least yung third to fourth quarter natin with the community rides, with the events, medyo end tayo on a lighter note. But with the same
blow
up, diba? Especially in 12 stops, guys. I have sobrang props sa inyo doon. But we ended it with a lighter note, but at the same time with more cyclists because of that merge. So I hope ma-continue next year, and I know that there are plans to really continue and even up it next year. So ayun, wala akong nang masabi. I hope that after, because this was very like community driven, but if we get to include the private and the government involved in a way that still puts the community on top, mas ma-upscale yun. And that would create a different, no, that will add to the culture of cycling here. So, yun. Props to you. Props to all of you. Daw, grabe. Galing.
Oh, thank you, Eli, for those kind words. Papadala ko na lang sa GCash mo mamaya ang Just kidding. Okay, Jay, ikaw. What can you say about all of this numerous bike events, bike community rides?
I guess two things yung nasa top of mind ko. Number one is common unity talaga. So common unity, as what Esteban Cycling says. Common unity is what makes a community, which is very true. So then number two, culture. So I would say these events, it helps build a culture na in a way, even without us doing the rides, nagiging nagkakaroon ng community even without us doing rides, which is a good thing. Because I believe yung community rides is something like just to spark the spark the hearts of the people na parang okay, it's something na normal, and people hopefully get used to it, na to the point na hindi kailangan every time merong ride, si everyday cyclist always si first bike ride, etc. etc. para magkaroon ng community ride. So I think even ito, especially no height of the pandemic, nung medyo nag-ease down siya, parang may mga community rides kami na ginagawa na after that, people get to meet strangers, and then after a while, hindi na sila nag-ride with our rides, but because they made friends out of that event. And ayun, kumakalat siya. Yeah, and I guess hopefully yung wish ko is I hope we have more energy to spare para at least we can continue this, kasi it's really something na yes, it's super exhausting, di ba? Kailangan natin
More
again,
sponsors, let's go. Sa mga sponsors dyan na nakikinig, let's do this.
Yeah, it's super exhausting, but at the same time, on top of it kasi, like ko naisip na, this is not for me or not for the core members. It's really for the community. And when we see the people na they're having fun, you hear the stories na, oh, it's actually their first time to go to, let's say, Mandaluyong or BGC. It fuels yung passion mo to keep on going. And yeah, I hope more energy for every one of us.
More energy, more passion, more energy, more
Yo,
passion.
yo, 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 yo.
Yo, 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 yo.
Part of the community are the shops that are pro cyclists or that want to promote
yeah.
bike commuting as well. They're a huge part in these events, and thank you rin sa kanila.
Yun, tama. Maraming salamat din sa mga sumusuporta ng cycling. Diba? Hindi lang to yung mga organizers, hindi lang yung mga advocates, but also the cyclists themselves. Alam mo, yung cycling is still alive all because people keeps on biking. Diba? Kaya lagi ko sinasabi to mag-post kayo ng bike rides nyo kahit sa IG stories. Pakita nyo lang online na namimisikleta kayo just to make ourselves visible to people. Kasi parang feeling nila nawawala na tayo And to answer the very first question, may nagbabike pa ba ngayong 2023? Oo naman. Sobrang daming namimisikleta ngayong 2023. And on that note, gusto ko rin magpasalamat talaga sa mga taong sumusuporta sa ating mga ganap, sa ating mga events, sa ating mga pakulo, para lang, and maraming salamat sa mga taong nambubudol ng ibang tao para magbike at patuloy na magbike. Ayan. Kaya, ang wish ko for 2024, sana mas madami pa talaga magbike. Sana mas ligtas, sana mas safe ang mga tao. And, I hope we get the infrastructure that we need. Kayo, may mga wish ba kayo for 2024 as we end this podcast episode?
Pinaka-short na wish is, I wish we get yung support that we deserve.
Yun.
Kasi
tama.
yung what we need parang, okay, sige, lagay natin ng bike lane. But I think yung mas fitting is, we hope to get the support that we deserve, the safety that we deserve, the infrastructure that we deserve, and of course, the government that we deserve.
Let's go. Deserve.
Yeah, walang building na ginawa na isang araw. So it's really small steps, but then having small steps is better than nothing. And I hope maging continuous yung steps na binibuild ng everyone.
At hindi lang isang tao ang gumagawa ng isang building.
Yes, of course.
It consists of so many people, so many foundations.
To build on what Jay mentioned, especially yung support, my wish is that mas maraming champions tayo in cycling. All from the public sector as well, so yung mga matataas doon sa government, all the way to the private sector, all the way to the influencers, all the way to the different influential people in society. I hope that they would use their platform, they would use their influence and their voice to promote active transport, because we know how our society works, diba? Like if the ones on top say so that it's going to happen, it will happen. And the thing is, may push na dito sa baba. May push na dito sa baba. So we just have to combine our forces. And with that, I think mata times 2 yun ginawa natin this year or times 3. So yeah, more people of influence to help promote cycling.
Yun, tama.
That is towards the community.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And all of us will benefit from
Yeah.
all of these things. On that note, as we end this podcast episode, and as we end the year, gusto ko lang sabihin talaga na maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga taong sumusuporta, hindi lang sa cycling, kundi pati dito sa podcast, sa Tambike Session Podcast. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig mula January hanggang ngayon na nandito tayo sa last episode of 2023. Salamat sa mga naging guest ko, like Jay and Eli. Ilang beses na kayong tumanggap ng aking invitation. Thank you very much. And I am hoping na mas dumami pang tagapakinig at mga kakwentuhan ko dito sa Tambike Session Podcast. Jay, Eli, maraming salamat again for joining me
You're
in this
welcome. Thank you,
episode.
din.
Oh, thank you, Ren.
Yes.
Lester.
It's
It
an
was
honor to
an
be part of this.
Thank you. It was an enjoyable way of wrapping things up and looking back on the things that has happened in 2023. And sa 2024, asahan natin na mas madami pa ang magiging cycling ganaps, cycling news, at sana positive ang dumami in 2024. Again, this is Bougie Babiera. Maraming salamat sa pakikipagkwentuhan sa akin ngayong 2023. At sana magkwentuhan pa tayo sa 2024 dito sa Tambike Session. Bye! Thank you!